Congratulations, you finally have that big month, the one that you're dreaming about. All the clients, the income, that bank account going ding, 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 notification of a sale, and everything clicks. It's like, yay, the thing that I've worked on for years is finally happening to me. And instead of celebrating, your mind is already spiraling. Can I do that again? Can I keep up? Will my clients get the results that they just paid me for? Will they get what they wanted from me and my product? And it's very interesting because you've had money come in before, maybe even a big lump sum, and somehow it just disappears when you have it, like random expenses, different emergencies, and somehow you panic again at the end of the month and go, oh my God, I don't know how I'm going to survive next month. Or you're actually hoarding into every dollar, very afraid to invest when logically you know that this is the next step for you and it would actually grow your business and even better yourself. You're not really bad with money. Sure, we can all learn more about how to be responsible with money, but the biggest underlying culprit with regards to this is that your nervous system is dysregulated and your body treats every financial decision as a threat to your survival and not a calculated risk. That's why you freeze and feel numb, even though you've literally worked so hard to get to where you want to be. The happiness and gratitude that you thought you would feel is replaced with numbness. And then you feel guilty because you should be grateful. And that whole blame cycle goes over and over again, and then you lose it all. This is more than just a mindset issue. That's not actually the problem. That is a byproduct or result of having a biological issue deep down in your survival centers. And so your nervous system doesn't really understand profit or money. It only understands, are we safe or are we unsafe? So when you make more money, your nervous system will actually register that as a threat because this will mean more visibility, more responsibility, new risk. That makes sense, right? When you have more clients, then you have more people to serve. You're more responsible. When you grow, you have more team members. You have more time because of that, but it still doesn't dissolve responsibility. You'll actually be more responsible. And so your really smart nervous system already calculates that. And so it will then register that as a threat. This is why you unconsciously cap your income. You self-sabotage or overspend to get back into that safety baseline. You keep earning more, but never feel richer or satisfied or happy. When your system is like this, it just cannot physically hold abundance. Just like when a trauma patient that I saw in the ER will dump energy after adrenaline, they'll shake so much. Your system also dumps money after a stress strike. And if you don't know what to do with that energy, that will stay in your system and will wreak havoc and cause physical problems as well. That's why you get sick whenever you launch. So then over time, you'll start thinking that a win equals energetic crash. More money, I burn out. It's that huge, spike in cycle. And your brain already knows that because it's a predictive coding mechanism. And so because that has been your pattern before, you'll start to then have and cultivate that belief of money just doesn't stick to me. And that conclusion is because of the up and down income you've had, which kind of makes sense, but that's not what you want, right? You want to be able to prove yourself wrong. So you're doing the belief work to say, money speaks to me, but if you physically cannot hold it, that belief is useless because your brain goes, nice try, bitch. The last time we did this, we did crash. And your nervous system is actually valid for thinking that. So you get to support it in a different way. It perceives danger because you haven't trained it and cultivated that relationship and trust between your nervous system that you will have its back and actually take care of yourself as you grow. And this is pretty common. I've seen this pattern everywhere. I totally get it because as business owners, we do need that rush, that energy, right? We are needing money these days. We cannot live without money. And so when we put energy and effort into that, it makes sense that we are prioritizing that versus our nervous system. But if we want to make it in the long run, something has to change. You need to rewire this pattern because this is the one that is leaking you money. This exhaustion is the one leaking you money. When you take care of that, everything just flows and your ceiling goes high. When I worked in the ER, I had patients who their vitals only stabilized when their perceived threat ends. So if a patient with asthma came and they're having shortness of breath, their vital signs, their heart rate will only go down when we have taken care of their symptom of difficulty breathing, when we've opened up their airways. And when that threat ends, that's when everything feels good. That's when they feel regulated and they stop the anxiety. In business owners, you're in as a business owner, your income will stabilize only when your nervous system does, because it's running your background. If you're anxious and going up and down, if your income is like this, your inner state is also like that. And you keep ignoring your inner state, it'll just match your outer state, right? You'll keep mistaking financial chaos as bad luck or the economy instead of realizing that it's actually a physiology thing. When your inside is stable, the outside is stable, which then it doesn't matter if there's a recession or people aren't making money. You'll just find a way to do it and keep doing it. So if you've tried the money mindset work, the affirmations, the strategies, the tapping for more money, but you still feel like more clients slip through your fingers and you have this great fear of losing it all and being unable to keep up, it's not because you're doing anything wrong. It's just your nervous system hasn't learned to hold safety yet while you're growing. And you need to teach your body to do this in real time. It's not just, I'm going to meditate for 20 minutes in the morning and then completely forget about it. You need to regulate your system when you are writing that email, when you are talking to a potential client in Zoom via sales calls, when you are about to update your sales page and put that higher price in. This is the deeper work. So, if you want to stop leaking time, energy, and money and finally build a business that is calm while flowing cash, check the links below. I'll show you how to rewire your system so that your income doesn't just rise, it stays high.